think those are, didn't it? How are we all doing, everybody? How are we? Oh, is somebody there already? Hello. Who's there already? Can't see. Hello, if you're just joining into the Sunday roast. Come and say hello. I thought I'd give us some Christmas songs as I'm waiting. Not very good, are they? Are you singing along? Are you not singing along? Maybe we should do a hymn. A la Tommy. Hello, Laura. How are you? I thought I'd go a bit biblical. How's the holding? Very well, thank you. Is the new place good? It's a nice carol, isn't it? I wonder what we should do next. Going on a woodwork and tiling course next week. Of course you are. Of course you are. Why would you not be doing that? Woodwork, really interesting. Where's the woodwork course? I have a friend down in your neck of the woods that runs a woodwork course, which is why I ask. If you're lurking in the background, why not say hello and let's have a chat? You can tell I'm in panto. Is it just... Oh, okay. No, my friend runs a sort of private enterprisey thing. I think that's what it is. But they do amazing stuff there. They learn how to make chairs and all sorts. Anyway. I've always quite fancied a bit of woodworking. Not that I've ever done it, but I'm not very visual. So I thought I'd be a bit crap. I'm playing Ucha a lot at the moment. That's our panto bow music. This is an ad for something similar, one of the community centres. Oh, very good. I think they've got a small holding as well. But he does woodwork, that's his big job. That's what he does. He once made me an amazing bookshelf for my college. And made us really good lockers, sort of bespoke lockers for the students. It's an arboriculture. Oh, very good. What is an arboriculturist? What do they do? I'm intrigued. Okay, 9 people are watching. Did anybody see Tommy's Praise the Lord yesterday? Tree. Oh, okay. Very good. We've just had a tree surgeon re-pollard a tree in our back garden. That'd be handy. You could chop the trees down and you could make really lovely things out of them. I see a new business venture coming for the two of you. For a bit of lounge music in the background, whilst multitasking with my other hand, doing my phone. Kew Gardens was one of them. Oh, I bet, yeah. Good evening, Miss RNAB. How are you, Miss R? Yeah, I make a living making the lounge music. Very good, thank you. This could be in a lift, couldn't it? So, according to the papers today, Tommy Robinson had, what was it, 1,000 people in his little biblical thing yesterday. No doubt in Tommy Robinson land, that's like 1 million people in it that turned up. Am I finding YouTube better than TikTok? Yes, I am actually. I much prefer YouTube to TikTok. Certainly for lives, I prefer seeing, and I know it's hard on my eyeline, isn't it? But I prefer seeing the talk comes up in quicker time. I find it very laggy on TikTok, so I prefer that. In terms of posting, I find them both about the same. But certainly for lives, much prefer YouTube. Even though I'm not going to have so many people on live because there's not so many followers, but I sort of hope that some of the TikTok followers will pop in for a live. Imagine being Tommy thing because I know. But Tommy's really interested in that thing yesterday, isn't it? Because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that Tommy's found God because there's more money in it. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's genuinely found God, but I'm not hearing anything vaguely godly in anything else that he says other than come and join me for a carol service. And I found it really uncomfortable seeing that child singing a carol. I just don't know. I just don't get parents taking any child to a Tommy Robinson thing. What is YouTube better than TikTok for you, Laura, or not really? Well, this is what I mean, Miss R. I don't think he is anything to do with God, but maybe he's found God. Maybe in the prison cell he did find God, but I'm somewhat concerned because all the clerics that were there, none of them are from a mainstream church, and they're all a bit dodgy. The guy with the weird beard, who I don't really, Is it terrible to base a judgment on somebody because of their weird stubble? But I think I have. Also, the fact that he's the guy that baptized Alex Phillips, who I don't find very Christian either. Like, I don't know. It's like this body of Christianity who I feel are grifting in the Lord's name. If I got it right for Russell Brand. Well, yeah, Russell Brand found God once those allegations had come out. Do you know what I mean? And yesterday Tommy was going, I am a sinner, so I'm not worthy of it. But he doesn't seem to be doing anything to change those sins, does he? Thank God it is or not. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who are any of us to say that somebody hasn't found God? Then it's also you can't criticize. Yeah, well, yeah, it does feel a bit like that. But like that idea of, look, it's we are now Christians and we're trying to save Christmas. It's like I'm slightly bored of hearing that in London we don't have. I live in London, and I'm bored of hearing that in London we don't have Christmas. So I've spent nearly every adult Christmas in London, and it's very clearly London as opposed to it's very clearly Christmas as opposed to some other service. And every night, so I'm doing Panto, so every night I'm sort of driving through London late at night because I'm driving through the West End and stuff, and it's Christmas everywhere, like literally Christmas everywhere. If you go to Covent Garden, there's that big bloody Christmas tree. Like nobody's pretending it's not Christmas, and I find it very weird that he had that service wherever it was yesterday in Whitehall because they want to put Christ back into Christmas, but it's literally everywhere. So I don't really know where they're looking to think that it's not. And the Reform are doing the same, aren't they? It's like, well, they're taking away. I don't know. And I don't think Christians, like true Christians, are worried about that. And it almost feels like it's competitive against other religions. And I don't know. I'm a bit flummoxed by it. And like I say, I feel very... I don't want to be the person that says, well, nobody, all these alleged sinners haven't found God. But I just don't know. I made a religious issue. Well, it's a little bit like at Easter. They said that why isn't everybody saying Happy Easter? Like suddenly everybody should have sent Easter cards, which, excuse me, for sure some Christians do. But it's not the done thing. It's like they deliberately latch on to something to make sure that we believe it's a problem, but I don't think it is a problem. And then that makes me think that they're disingenuous and that they're just grifting and they're just looking for division. I thought it was hilarious that a lot of the people left early yesterday because they were bored. Obviously, the Christ going into Christmas wasn't the most exciting thing for them, whereas, of course, it sort of should have been, really. But also, like, he was stood there and he wasn't singing. He was just smiling a bit. That child getting up and singing, I thought was just well weird. But I would think that whatever the service was, I just don't think when you're streaming like that, don't put children there. Tesco, they highlight it. Yeah, no, I know. The Tesco one's the same thing. And they've done the same with Screwfix, haven't they? Screwfix said something about that somebody started a rumour saying the Screwfix weren't celebrating Christmas. And Screwfix are all over their socials going, we are. Don't know what they're going on about. They're creating problems. And they wait to find... They create an outrage over everything. And I just wonder why. Why do they have a desperate need to be angry about everything? Because surely, firstly, I should sort out this stool that is completely broken now. But if you're trying to unify people under the banner of Christianity, then don't do that while slagging off other religions. A man even went in and targeted a local Tesco about it. Oh no, that's terrible. Or all the outrage though, and they keep talking about, it's winter wonderland, not Christmas, and like some of these things have been going on for ages. I don't know. It's a very certain psyche, isn't it, that looks at the blatant Christmas decorations and are outraged because it doesn't say the word Christmas, whereas in every bloody shop window it's saying Christmas. And Nigel, Mr. Farage, did it, or Ferridge, as he was called at school. He did it at GB News. You know, he's just crossed that. What's Christian about Nigel Farage? Like, literally, what is Christian about him? He lives his life for division. So I think it's quite uncomfortable, really. But again, I don't know, maybe Tommy has found God. I just wondered whether God was looking for Tommy. That's what I'm going to say. They implant a fear and then prey on and perpetuate it. Well, they just want us all to be as angry as they are. And I guess they're angry because their lives are not very fulfilling. And I wonder what that is. What I find worrying is this news over the teacher who lost a job over saying, yes, no, of course it's not the truth. But they've done that, haven't they? They did it about the Burke bloke over in Ireland, saying it was just him being gender critical. Whereas that family have got an outrageous history of division, and wasn't he, I don't want to get it wrong, but he was doing other stuff as well, wasn't he? Like he kept turning up at school, but he shouldn't have, and like there's a reason why he's ended up in prison. Why are they so angry? I don't. Why are they so angry? Unfulfilled? Like small people that have never realized the potential, but they have an amazing gift of the gab. I think it's that. It must be difficult. So you suddenly find out that you're a really good salesperson, but you don't really want to do an honest day's work in your life. So you're selling outrage to everybody. You're selling discontentment. So what are they angry about? Angry of their own fear? Like, we now know, don't we? Nigel Farage is just angry because of the Maastricht Treaty. That's all everything's about. His self-entitlement. Hello, Big Dave. I always assumed you had some kind of booth you sat into a call. It's just a background. Oh my God, yes, it's just a background screen. Just because I don't want to show you my stuff. I love that you thought I had a big booth, though. No, I just find either I'm in the office, so I have the screen, or I'm up against a wall, and that's the screen. But thank you for thinking I was a lot more glamorous than I really am. So faux anger, just go to the grift and have people follow you, some form of power. Well, it's narcissists, isn't it? Fundamentally, compensatory narcissists. But understanding that you're a good communicator, and that is very powerful when you suddenly realize that you're a leader, but you haven't got anything good to lead people with. So you just lead them down the path that you chose to go to, and that's your own prejudice, I suppose, in the terms of Nigel and Tommy. Big Dave, are you our Dave from TikTok, who's elevated themselves to big? Or are you a different Dave? Or are you still getting over the shock that I'm not in a big booth? Where did you think I'd put a big booth? Did you think I'd built a big booth? Well, how lovely to have you here. Thank you for popping up. I haven't seen you for ages. How are you? And I'm not live very often, am I? Well, you see, interesting enough, the office where I'm sat, like behind the screen, is a studio, in so much as that it's really heavily soundproofed because it's where I do my work. So it's got like super duper layers of soundproofing built to be a studio space. So that sort of part of that is true, but not the fact that it's got a lovely black background. So it's a really dead space for my recordings, or obviously for work and stuff, and so that the music doesn't annoy the neighbours, which is fairly important as well, I think. Well, and my family. Not being given up social. That's not a bad thing though, Dave. consciously. Have you been having a sort of a detox? I was reading about how TikTok is skewed towards the right wing quite massively, incidentally. I think this can be the Sunday roast can be an oasis of calm, Dave. Laura, I have had extended period of time after seeing the research. No, I didn't see that, Laura. There is a lot of negativity, isn't it? It says me always writing negative things about Nigel. Mind you, saying that because I look at X a lot for these videos. How anybody stays sane on that, I just don't know. It's so toxic. Yeah, please do, Laura. Oh, X is just a cesspit, isn't it? I was looking, I've got to do today's video in a bit, and I'll be doing it about Farage and anti-Semitism because of the Australia thing. But then, I don't know if you saw, but everybody kicked off because Starmer, or his office, clearly not him, they're clearly scheduling posts, aren't they? And they'd scheduled a post to celebrate Chanukah today, is it Chanukah? So they put a post out, but they clearly hadn't stopped the schedule after the atrocities in Australia. So then everybody's really cross with him. And then an hour later, he put out what looks like his own post saying, really sorry. So it wasn't a scheduled one. But by this point, everybody's kicked off on X because of what he's put out. And then later on today, he's put up a personal one of him and his wife lighting the candle. And the anti-Semitism under the post is outrageous. Extended period of time. Don't have an X anymore. Yeah, it does drive you crazy, Laura. Rupert Lowe. Rupert Lowe was saying about he didn't understand why people are saying that boys should be taught, why not to be violent to women. It's like Rupert Lowe's done quite a few things recently. He did the thing about treat men better in maternity wards. He did that, and then this thing of don't pick on the lads because of violence against women. It's like predominantly it's men being violent against women, but unless those men are of a certain shade, people don't really seem to care. Whereas it is a national emergency, isn't it? The amount of violence against women is off the charts. Little Rupert didn't learn from the charity gig. Well, little Rupert, it believes his own ego these days, doesn't he? See, now I go on X. X is quite useful for me because when I'm doing a bit of research, I can have a quick scroll, find out what they're all outraged about, and then find out what the real story is. So it's a useful thing for me to just scroll in rehearsals when I haven't really got to be focused, and I can just have one ear in the room and one ear out of the room, so to speak. So I do find X fascinating, but it's literally just riddled with people supporting Trump and reform. But did you see the data? I was going to do a video about this as well. About hang on, let me find out how many it was. How many pieces of false information there were about there you go. YouTube, 1.2 billion videos or YouTube videos spreading fake anti-Labour videos were viewed 1.2 billion times in 2025. 1.2 billion times. And then the article, like I thought it was just all the usual shit about, that I don't know, that they voted against the grooming gang and that sort of stuff. But oh no, there's apparently a whole subsection of YouTube where they make up the most extraordinary claims about whoever, whenever. And then you kind of wonder, I wonder if any party will ever be able to effectively govern again until we get regulations in place around social media. I do it just for you, Dave. I do it so you don't have to. I take one for the team, as it were. But who are the people that are putting these articles out? And like, what's in it for them? And I know, like we say this a lot, I don't think Keir Starmer's the best Prime Minister ever by a long way. But he's certainly also not the worst Prime Minister ever. And he's certainly not making the country a lot poorer. So it's very bizarre the amount of vitriol that he's getting. And then where's it coming from and what's it achieving? And how can any government survive and thrive in that environment? And then why aren't the government doing something about it? These are all my questions that I'm pondering on this Sunday roast, everybody. Hello, Sylvia. How are you? Well, the merry gang are all here. Like, Laura's here, Dave's here. So I'm curious. That's my wider question today. Can anybody survive? Keir Starmer ain't no song and dance, but like the serial killer does do the Prime Minister. Yeah, hi, Deep Cuts. Again, I'm saying I don't think he's the best one ever, but I just the level of discontentment is demonstrably manufactured, isn't it? It's not easy to come out Leipzig. Yeah, and I don't know why they're not doing anything about it, Dave. Like, why aren't they regulating the media, for example? The Telegraph has become outrageous. The Mail, what a waste of space. Laura, the Whisper Badger band are back together. Where's Marchwood? Brit Guy sometimes pops over. Whisper Gold, though, wasn't it, Dave? That was your thing? Maybe one day we'll find out just how connected Russia are to it all. But like, why isn't there an investigation over this? I read a really interesting article saying that it's because if the government launched an investigation, it would be seen to be political. So, but then it is political, isn't it? Like, seriously? Yeah, I agree, Laura. It does need regulating. Well, Marchwood might pop over, I don't know. Whisper Girls, Dave, you're an embarrassment. Do we want nice lounge music or do we want a little bit of umpa? Levison. Yeah, I agree. Sylvia, will the government discuss the petition yet? Well, it's got enough, hasn't it? But they don't have to, even on a petition, so I don't know. AI, most definitely. Though, did you see the one of Trump the other day after he signed some national executive order about AI? But then they all published that one of him AI'd onto a walker, which made me laugh. I wonder why they don't do Leveson. Like, how much worse is it going to get for Labour? Hi, Super Gustavus. That's when he said Israel's right to defend herself. Well, my hunch is that you probably didn't have your vote before that, to be fair. Just interesting how many people have said that, didn't say the full context of it, and then didn't look at how the position evolved. But I'm also interested why people pretend that they ever did really want to vote for him. Do you know what I mean? Because you're clearly, I would hazard a guess, further left than him. There's piracy footage. Hang on, it's piracy footage. Yeah, no, I know. That's bonkers, isn't it? I've been looking at quite a few of Donald's stuff just because it's making me laugh. It makes me laugh that people hear it and don't just go, what are we doing? Like, how have we ended up with this? How have we ended up with these people in charge and calling the shots? And how come nobody raises the hypocrisy? Awful, Sylvia. Absolutely awful. hatred, but also why are we not talking more about how anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, how all of it is so interconnected? Like, because everybody loses in these things, don't they? There's no meaningful law and order anymore. Do you think not? There is law and order, though, isn't there? I'm pondering that. But why do you say there's not? I think as soon as we see law and order, everybody kicks off about it. Because I was reading all the stats about, London being so dangerous, and all the stats don't support it. A bystander turned hero as well. Yes, I know, Sylvia, and that should be that explains the difficulties of it, doesn't it? So many innocents from all religions get tied up into the extremisms. I saw Nigel's post, was it something like that, how many more? And it's like, there have always been extremists, always, but we haven't had the opportunists that have exploited the extremists as we have now. Because everyone knows a voice, thanks. Yes, absolutely. The discourse and hatred has been monetized by people like Elon Musk, who pays you for impressions. Oh, for sure, Dave. Rage sells really well, doesn't it? And I think, how can that be? You would think that hope would sell, wouldn't you? Really, that's what happiness and hope should sell, because that gives us a place to, move forward from. And yet people want to be stewed in anger. Innocent people don't have an issue with others until governments do. Then it creates all kinds of hatred. Right? Yeah, Laura. But there's so many innocent people being affected by this. I can't imagine how difficult it must be to be other than a Christian right now in the UK, because they're all getting it, aren't they? The discourse is so polarized, people think it's okay to turn to violence. I think that's true. I think it encourages people that are vulnerable. I think will see it as their cue to do whatever. Around for a long time to be fair. Well, I think the Daily Mail and that lot absolutely have always been at it, Dave. But social media gives another level, doesn't it? And I know I've done videos on this before, but the agitators on both sides, it's not just the right wing, but on both sides, that speak with such vitriol. It's one thing, isn't it, to I don't know, have a funny nickname for people, or to criticize their policies, highlight their inadequacies, but the level of discourse is literally everybody calling each other names. It's like a playground. That's what it's like. It's like the playground politics have come online. The rise of citizens journalists is hugely problematic, I think. Social media is different. People behave like they do when driving. They don't see other people, they see accounts. Yes, Sylvia, I think people feel like they're not going to be held account to it. And when they are then held account to it, then everybody cries and say that all of a sudden our freedom of speech has been taken away. Whereas it's our freedom of speech of hate, really. There's a disconnect, isn't there? There's a known disconnect between the people that are so vile online probably aren't as vile in real life. Although it's interesting how they're now forming little communities and meeting up offline to carry on their hatred. I think you're being emboldened, aren't you? If you've got an abhorrent view, you're emboldened because you're finding your tribe. So you believe it's not a horrible view. Other people share it with you. I think it's certainly true of racism now. It feels to me like we've gone back to the 1970s. Online rage. It's like a red mist, isn't it? an account. I've been collecting a college of people posting hatred online, viewing their profile, find their Facebooks. Oh, very good, Laura. There's so many people though, but people are all, I think as well, you can earn a living just by being hateful online. For Musk voices, I could be nice. Yes, Musk is a massive component of this though, Dave, isn't he? He's normalized hate speech by calling it free speech. And then add to the fact you've got a president who doesn't edit because he's a bit daft and hateful. So the voices that are being amplified worldwide are voices that are divisive. There's no unifying progressive voices that are really cutting through. He's up as a major cause. I think Musk is a major contributing factor. He emboldens racists, and they're emboldened further because, well, he believes them. He believes that others are the problem, and people equate somebody having a lot of money with having emotional intelligence. So stop looking at Elon's dad. Oh, it's uncomfortable, Laura, isn't it? Really uncomfortable. And let's not forget the media in the UK platformed him. They paid him to speak. Sylvia, I typed the words freedom of speech into one of my comments and realized I had an Elon Musk bot replying that the UK has no freedom of speech, which is daft, isn't it? I find the whole freedom of speech argument quite extraordinary. I've never had to temper what I've said, but then I'm not going to say anything hateful. Mind you, then it's ironic, isn't it? The people that are telling us that we've got a freedom of speech issue are the ones that are constantly telling us that they're the victims and telling us to shut up. The lies are sticking. Yeah, the idea that you repeat a lie. I thought that about Farage and the children in Glasgow not speaking English. That was debunked relatively quickly online, and they've all repeated it. And Farage and Offord repeated it the other day. They don't care. There's no accountability. But I don't know. Has that always been the case? Is that what has politics always been like that? We just haven't really noticed it. I suppose they have. I suppose the lies have always stuck. But it's these toxic lies that are really problematic, I think. Laura, I feel we'll never bring back together. I don't know how to get rid of the online world. I think we're so behind with the online world. Like we are with AI. We're so slow to regulate and so slow to say that it's a massive problem. The online world is horrible, I think, or has the potential to be. Whilst it brings lovely communities together, and I include us lot in all of that, it's also bringing together people who are, I don't know, are hateful. It does, but you say about reversing the rot, Dave. You'd think at some point now the government, any government, Australia have just done it, haven't they? Will have to kind of wake up and go, no, it's damaging. Society has been worse because of social media, not better. And I think it had the potential to be better, but everybody forgot that the bad people would have a voice. I remember on my course we're talking, because I did cybersecurity and stuff on it and psychology, and so many people were talking about, is social media dangerous? And our lecturers were talking, and they're right, aren't they, that actually everything's dangerous in the wrong hands, and in the right hands it's always great. So it's sort of just forgetting that we've amplified bad voices as opposed to the medium itself is bad. Deep cuts, there's a lot of money and hate. Yeah, a lot of money. These accounts with 200, 300,000 followers are making a lot of money. And I don't know whether that's right. I don't think it is right. But then I also think it's wrong when you've got families living their life in the Truman Show, making a lot of money as well. Like, protect the children, get those children offline. Well, I don't know. Did it originate in, that's what we're led to believe, isn't it? That it's Russian influenced. They certainly all say the same stuff. I find it fascinating how quickly one person posts something and then all the usual suspects post exactly the same. Now, I'm assuming it's just people scrolling online. They see somebody's got an angle, so they repeat that angle. I'm assuming it's that. But it happens very quick, which then leads me to think there are people literally living their lives online. And that's a worry, right? Like, real life is taking a back seat, and I don't know whether that's... I don't know what we're doing about that. We need to get people back out in communities. We need to get people back out interacting in real life, I think. Because you can't say those horrible things to people in real life, whereas you can online. There's a disconnect. I suppose like parasocial relationships. Why do you say that the reformers had their weekly memos of talking? But that's what it feels like though, Dave, doesn't it? No, they must do though, right? If you're a reform counsellor, you must all be sent the same memo. This is what we're going for now. People do need to get out. They need to get out and they need to socialise in real life with other people. They need to touch grass, don't they? I want to say that to people who are being hateful on TikTok. But like you not watch people the same as I do. It's fascinating seeing somebody getting radicalised online, isn't it? Like, to see them more and more going down a rabbit hole. And wondering where the people close to them are that can't pull them out before they go down there. That's what I wonder about. Like, I think about this with Liz Truss, who's clearly bonkers, right? But where are her friends and family? Where's the person that's her go-to, her ride or die? Just say to her, Liz, just stop. You're not well. You're clearly bonkers now. Where's that person? Would you not have somebody in your life that would say to you, you've crossed the line? Dave, if only the people arrested during the riots were sentenced to community service instead of prison. Otherwise, do you part of it, Dave? Where does all this hate come from? Years of underachievement. Well, I think we've got years of austerity. I think, like if I think into the South Walian communities, some have never recovered from Thatcher, like, generational damage. So they're always looking for a way out, which is Nigel Farage is brilliant at spotting that, I think. He hasn't got the way out, but he's brilliant at spotting those people who want a way out. Years of austerity, years of not doing as well as you think that you should be doing. Well, it's hard, isn't it? If you're working a 40-hour week and you still can't afford to do anything, it feels hard. It feels like trudgery. And then you're reading about all these people that haven't got the same responsibilities as you, seemingly having everything, and it builds up a resentment. It's worded very cleverly. Do you think the people in prison for Sport and Palace who are striking hunger strike should be released? I had an argument about this this week, actually. I've said this several times. I sort of despair with the Palestine Action Group because I feel like it's become about the English people that are protesting and having the right to protest, as opposed to they're still protesting for Gaza. It feels like the message has got lost in the demonstration. I think there are questions for Palestine Action to answer around that sledgehammer attack that people aren't addressing. I don't think they're hunger striking to raise awareness for Gaza. I think they're hunger striking to raise awareness for the fact they're in prison. And then that for me, that's slightly, that takes the focus off Gaza, and surely the focus should be there because terrible things are still happening there. Hi, Nat, how you doing? I think we're growing up. Hang on. Decades of stagnant wages in the public service have been bled to the bone. And everything is broken, isn't it? it feels broken. You can't see a doctor. If you go to the hospital, it takes forever to be seen. There aren't enough jobs. If you're working, you're not earning enough money. God, I get that it feels broken. And nobody's really saying this is how we fix it. People are Nigel's going, I'll sort it, stop the boats. And we all know it's not going to sort anything. Laura, I think a lot of it is growing up being told if you work hard, you'll get on. You work hard and don't get on, then blue. But yes, absolutely. I don't think the government were transparent enough about the prescription, which added to the discourse. But there was something, though, about that they couldn't be because the court cases were still ongoing. So they would prejudice the court cases. But then we're in a world now where nobody trusts anybody. So if a government prescribe, then it must be for bad reasons. In the 80s, Thatcher made greed and selfishness acceptable personal traits. Now the influencer made hate fashionable. Yes. But also even this, isn't it? Influencers are making a living, and you can't make a living being nice. So the thing that's being spread is not goodness, it's just toxicity. So I think they're responsible. I mean, they only need to go press, but so they wanted to make a point. Yeah, and I need to read a bit more about it. But I've done countless videos on how I despair a little bit about it. What are they hoping as the end game for the hunger strike? Because now it seems everybody's preoccupied with the hunger strikers as opposed to the people that are just genuinely going hungry in Gaza. So throw their lives away like that and harm their cause. I know, but it's suddenly you get swept up in it, don't you? You get swept up in everybody going, we have to do this. And it's people doing it for good reasons, but I think it's counterintuitive. Which is the point where I don't trust anyone. But yes, I know what you mean, Laura. It's hard to trust anybody, isn't it? I find sometimes if I'm reading a policy that I agree with, or I'm reading a report that I agree with, that I then have to check myself to see if it's just a confirmation bias. Like, do I agree with it, or should I be cross about it? And it's hard to differentiate what it is now, I think. There's so many lies, and the government needs to stop spinning stories. They need to stop the lobbying. The lobbying, I think, is and the briefing of journalists doesn't help anybody. Although, on a separate note, I'm so grateful that corner was so closed. Yeah. I was looking at, I've seen Labour have tried to go onto TikTok, and even Keir Starmer's on TikTok now. And I saw the first one, I thought, I really don't think it's going to help anybody because he's still as dull as dishwater. So I don't think that's necessarily the answer for them. But then I was watching a few more of them, and he's a lot more personable than his speeches give him credit for. I've never met him. I don't know if anybody else has. You get he's one of the people you wouldn't want to be stuck in a lift with, would you? Like, you wouldn't mind being stuck in the lift with Farage because you know he'll laugh about it, and you know that you can just have a good old fight with him. Whereas Keir Starmer, I think, would just bore you to death in the lift. But anyway, and then I was watching him interacting with some children and stuff, and he was really quite endearing. And I thought, it's a shame, isn't it? You're not getting even that side of the politicians across. Or I saw one with Rachel Reeves, and it was so contrived anyway. But it's like there was a little moment where you saw humanity there. I said, why can't they just stop being politicians and just be people? Okay. The first TikTok, yeah, terrible, Laura, terrible. It looks utterly rubbish and boring. Rachel Reeves is best. But I thought she was quite dull as well. But they need like fancy videos doing, don't they? Or people that can really connect. Darren Jones, I think, is a good communicator. Jess Phillips is a good communicator. Shabana Mahmood is a good communicator. Like, they have got them. Just put them on there, saying their narrative. lift of charity, stink of cigs. Yeah, but compared, I wouldn't mind the cigs. Like at least you think, well, I'll have an hour of an interesting conversation. Starmer's going to be better in person. Yeah, well, I can kind of believe that, and I've said that on a video, and I saw him with the families around Hillsborough, and there's another one he did. That there seems to be a genuine affection there, but that doesn't come across at all, does it? And it doesn't help. Ed's the best. Oh God, he's not though, is he, Dave? Ed's terrible. Ed's really excited by it. Like Ed's like the cool. Ed's like the cool uncle that you think is he's quite funny, but he's also quite embarrassing. I think Ed Miliband is that. The politician should be barred from donation, I think. Yes, I agree, Laura. Stop it. Jess Phillips has had a bad rap. I think Jess Phillips has just become the punch bag for the far right. I think, ironically, they've gone for the woman, haven't they? And they've gone for the woman that really does care about violence against women. In my opinion, it doesn't come across that way because we're not willing to give Starmer a chance. But it's not going to come across like that now, is it? But why don't they speak like the same as the posts? Farage's ex-posts that aren't done by him, are they? But they've got a meter about them. They understand what they're trying to do. Starmer's are so functional, but every so often you get the impression that he writes one, and there does seem to be a little bit of humanity behind it. Like, do more of those. Explain in your own words what's going on, as opposed to like a politician. It's funny reading about sorrow. Yet in other countries, he's really well respected, right? But here, he's the worst thing ever. I just said it enough to see in the email. She responded. She spoke with me on the phone. Yeah, I do think Jess Phillips really cares. I think that's why she gets really cross with people. I think I've got a lot of time for a lot of those people on the front benches that are talking about violence against women, because I think they've made it their mission for years. They haven't suddenly just decided to do it. What do we think? How long do you all give Starmer? See, I think they should just stick with him and be damned. As much as because I think whoever else, it makes the country even more unstable. Things will go a little bit backward, and it's not going to change anybody's mind. I think the Andy Burnham thing really winds me up. The entitlement of, well, I'll just become an MP and then I'll be PM. I think that's everything that's wrong with politics. Till the next election. Do you, Sylvia? And he's going to have a struggle, isn't he? In May, he's going to have a real struggle to stay on, I think. Because I think the backbenches are full of young MPs that won't want to play the long game. Everybody's going to do the knee-jerk, we have to move on. The Aaron Farage not turn up to vote in the wishes rejoin. I know, Dave, you can't make it up, can you? But yet you could. I think if we don't stick with Labour, it'll be Reform. I agree, Laura. I don't think at all it will be Greens. Who would you go for, Laura? Well, or war comes to us, Nat. Who would you want, Laura, as the leader? Dave, would you want big Ed? Though I find it ironic that they're talking about Ed Miliband again. They'll stick with him. I think they should. I think they should listen to the overseas press as opposed to listen to what we're saying over here. There's some good relationships building up on there, especially with Trump. It'd be interesting to see actually what happens. Trump's just going to come a cropper soon, right? And then it'll be interesting to see what happens. Because when Trump goes down, the populists go with him, surely. you know, Sylvia, I always forget that you're a Labour member supporter. Dave, I wouldn't be opposed to air dollars. I think he's robbed off each other. Yeah, no, I know. But then nobody ever moved on from that, would they, Dave? Laura, Rachel Reeves have to go Starmer. Oh God, definitely. That would be their sell, wouldn't it? They're both going to go. I'm going to say it again, though. I think they should stick with both of them. I find Rachel Reeves fascinating that when you read what the press say and then you go and read what's actually happening, there's no, the disconnect is crazy. Going to be women's officer. Oh, very good, Sylvia. Very good. West Street in to go as well. Oh, do you think? Though they're saying that he's going to be in the running, don't they? I tell you what I think is bonkers, that they're talking about Angela Rayner, even though I really like her. That and there'd be something delicious, wouldn't there, about with her social background, her becoming prime minister. But I don't know how you can think of putting somebody in place that's already had to resign through an ethics matter. That's really nice, Sylvia. No, green. Of course you are, yeah, Dave. Keep growing if it results in yeah. Are you? They should elect you, Laura. Are you happy with Zach? He performs very well in the media rounds, doesn't he? Well, saying that, he didn't perform very well on the podcast rounds. So I do think Angela Rayner is problematic now because of that resignation. Well, like, regardless of what I might have thought of the resignation, I think it says a lot. Is a world statement in the old-fashioned. But deep cuts, it's interesting because that is how he's portrayed overseas. It's just in the UK, he's not. Shabana, Sylvia? One-inch punishment. Hello. Whoever we pick, all we're doing is rearranging the textures and we get proportional representation, the same cycle again and again. But we're not going to get proportional representation, are we? Because nobody is really going to put that in. Even reformers stopped talking about it. There's a long way to go, and I don't see him winning an election. But yeah, Dave. I wish, as you know, I'm not a fan, but I wish he would get more up on detail and less up on. I think his social media output is phenomenal, and he can, you know, he knows what he's doing in presentations. But I wish he'd get up on the detail because I think that makes it more persuasive. Even if I disagree with it, I just wish he'd get more up on it. Yeah, Nisar, Angela did do the decent thing, but then with the decent thing, you can't then bring her back, can you, and go, oh, well, she didn't have integrity over this thing because she got it wrong, but let's give her the country. I don't think you can. Yes, Laura, maybe I'll be the violinist playing. Could pull a blinder and bring in PR for the next election. I don't think he'll do that, will he, Dave? Like, you would think the objective would be to work against reform, but the Tories won't do that. They're more emboldened to just be another right-wing government. Yes, Dave, I think you're right. Can he continue for the next 3 years at this pace? I don't think Zach can. Well, I think he probably can now, because I think Zach is a populist and I think he's a narcissist as well. We have forgotten Nigel's bankrupt girlfriend, personal happiness. Yes, no, I know, Laura, I don't disagree. But again, if we're saying you lost your job through the ethics advisor saying you weren't up on the detail, I don't know whether you can then go, but bring them back as the PM and let's hope they're better on detail then. Do you know what I mean? To me, it's within the same camp as Andy Burnham goes, make me an MP and then I'll be PM. I think this is why people are fed up with politics. Laura, you're furious to share a name with her. I think that people would be sympathetic. Would they though, Miss R? I see the Greens as a pressure point. And that would be great though, Dave, if they were, wouldn't it? I think, it's coming up to the end of the session. There is hope because there are definitely more, there's more progressives in the country than far right idiots. And at the end of the day, I think progressives will do the right thing, whichever party you support. And I think they will do everything. I think reform will still implode. I still think that. I think Nigel, I want everybody to realise how stupid Nigel is, because the press keep talking like he's a genius, and he's demonstrably not. So I think we need that realisation, and the people that he's exploited and manipulated need to see that, I think, for them to get real with what would happen. Right. Zach's on my feed saying that the Greens will replace Labour. Yeah, it's bonkers at them now. I think. I don't know. Guys. Yes, I agree, Dave. And Zach's brilliant at that. I've withdrew my Labour membership. It took a lot of sleepless nights. I was the youth policy owner. And have you put your allegiance somewhere else, Laura? I've never been in a political party, nor have I ever been tempted. Considering how much I like politics, it's never even crossed my mind. What a rubbish political commentator I am. Don't know. Yeah, no, I wouldn't know where I'd be right now. Oh, nice to chat to you as well, Miss R. Guys, anybody doing anything exciting tomorrow before we go? Last 5 minutes. Me, I'm doing some training at the college that I now teach at. So I'm doing that teacher training day. And then I've got the show in the evening. What about the rest of you? The pantos, oh my God, Dave, the pantos are going amazingly. We've had countless reviews, all 5, well, 1 4-star, all the rest were 5-star. It's been sold out and it's brilliant. And if you're in London, come and see it. We're at the RVT, but it's really, really funny. Like genuinely laugh out loud funny. Your rapid presence, that lovely. Landscaper for a busy chat, very good, Sylvia. You're doing an emergency cycle for a young boy. Very good, Laura. Wrapping Christmas presents. Lots of wrapping Christmas presents. Okay, very good. Right, now listen, guys, I have to go. Thank you for joining me on my Sunday roast. There definitely won't be a Sunday roast next week because I've got a show. I think I've got a show anyway. Like if I haven't got a show, there might be, but I think I've got a show. Right, everybody, thank you very much. Thanks for joining me, and I shall see you very soon, as you were.